call, and I asked for Doug Keston, who's my agent, and he's like, do you have a passport? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay, you booked IBM. It shoots in Italy. And you're leaving on Monday.
Whoa.
So you better have a passport. And I'm like, yeah, I have a passport. No sweat. He's like, okay, I'll get back to you. So I hang up the phone, and I don't have a passport.
I'm Jhanelle Dennis, and I'm Jacob Durr.
When we agreed last episode that we were going to keep the illusion that there is no script.
There has never been an illusion that there's no script. There's you're allowed to have it. We've already talked about this. It's in the last episode.
Yeah, but a lot happens in a week, and people might have forgotten. Mm-hmm. But now...
Wouldn't it be amazing if us just kind of blabbering to each other for 20 minutes or 10 minutes was somehow scripted in some beautiful, like, organic way? If we were that talented.
Yeah. That's improv, like every improv show ever.
Would you like
That's
to?
That's a slight again. Sorry, improvisers. You guys are very, very caring and very funny. It takes a while to get there. Just like it did with this intro. Welcome to I'm Trying, the podcast where sometimes you try your best and you don't succeed. And you get what you want, but not what you need. That's been Coldplay. And I've been Jhanelle Dennis.
And I'm Jacob Derwin. I will try to fix you. Thank you for joining us for episode number 7. We're so glad you're here. Lucky number 7. And this is a really cool one, guys. I'm really excited about this one. This is with a friend, a comedian, actor, Jeffrey Emerson.
Acting.
He's a real life actor boy. It's really awesome.
You've probably seen, at least if you're in New York City, the big bus posters of a blonde woman holding a pill.
Nope.
And it says The Inventor.
Oh, I did see that and it weirded me out. I was like, what the heck is this about? Okay,
so Elizabeth
HBO
Holmes,
thing? Okay.
Yeah, she was the CEO and founder of Theranos, a company that claimed to develop this special technology that eliminated the need for blood testing. Well, blood testing as we know it. So the idea was that you just get one prick of blood and then you're scanned for almost every disease there is out there, just with one prick of blood. And it turns out that, plot twist, they were lying and nothing worked, and they raised $1 billion, or over $1 billion.
$1 billion?
Yes.
That's like... Too
over
much.
$1 billion, yeah.
That's like
but
too
it's because
much
if you think about it, and like a lot of her investors were even like people at Bill Clinton was one of her first investors, because they're thinking this can change everything.
I'm not gonna do it. I was gonna say another great move by Bill Clinton, but whatever.
He's like, just a prick of blood?
Hey, you did an impression!
Yeah.
Look at that!
I did not have sexual relations
with that woman. Theranos. What's the name of the company?
Theranos.
I got it? Good, okay.
Which is weird because it sounds like
Therapy?
Oh, I was going to say the Avengers.
Thanos? Ooh, that's a bad connection.
Yeah.
So,
but it pretty much was the same thing.
So they raised $1 billion lying to people about what they can detect in blood.
Yeah, but what I've been fascinated about and what the internet has become fascinated with is the cult of personality kind of surrounding her. That she was so quote unquote charismatic because she was such a character. She was obsessed with Steve Jobs.
Okay, I'm pulling up her picture because I want to see what
she would dress in black turtlenecks and had never blinked, but her voice is what people, especially in these documentaries, are talking about her fake voice.
Her fake voice.
Because her voice is, it's abnormally low. Like, you can tell that it's a fake voice. Obviously, it's easy to say that now, but, like, she talks like, and Theranos.
That does not look like what she would sound like.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm looking at her now. She looks like a 24-year-old dancer from
and
Harlem.
I've gone so far down the rabbit hole of Elizabeth Holmes that I'm finding videos of where people are like, oh, here's where she slips up and you hear her real voice for a second.
And she sound like you? Is that the joke here?
No, I feel like my voice sounds closer to her fake voice. It's like my voice is just a couple octaves higher than her fake voice.
Couple octaves, that's considerable. Maybe a couple notes, a couple steps.
Yeah, because she's going really low.
Yeah, I'm reading, I'm doing a little Wikipedia
Like, she sounds
thing.
almost like the voice from Cha-Cha Slide.
Cha-cha, real smooth. So she's 35 now, so she was super young when she pulled this
She was
stuff
19 when she founded it.
Whoa!
Yeah. She was like that.
I need to start
genius,
scamming people.
Yeah. I mean, now she faces criminal charges, but apparently she's been out and about in LA.
I need to be better then, I guess.
Yeah.
More subtle.
But if you, like, watching her and watching her in interviews, you kind of, like, she sells you on her vision, even with the fake voice and all. She sits hunched over.
Wow.
And, like, she always sits in that kind of stance where, like, pretty much exactly like Steve Jobs. Or, like, that she's just this nerd that, you know, just has a vision and, but also that I think it's also, it comes,
I didn't know any of this
it
stuff.
plays into people that apparently she didn't just come up with the concept that male voices sound more authoritative.
No.
And people agreed with her.
Yeah.
With her impact.
Absolutely. People tend to take lower voices more seriously.
Yeah.
That's why I talk like this. My actual voice is up here.
I knew you were Elmo all along.
All along.
Yeah.
Sorry, listeners. No, I've always had the Jazz FM voice. Anyways,
Jazz FM.
You know it. But yeah, I remember seeing I saw it like at one of the subway stations. Just like it was like half her face and like the little pill thing or whatever, a little syringe. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, it's a pill.
Yeah, it's a pill.
But the thing, it looks corny.
Yeah.
But that's what a lot of their promo videos for the company look
it's
like.
The one pill.
Yeah,
she's got super striking features in her face, like the eyes.
Yeah, she looks
jaw.
stressed out all the time.
She looks like she was staring into my soul through that billboard. Like it was really intense. I took a picture of the. I think I legit took a picture of the. Let me see. Oh my god, where's the? I know. Oh yep, I did. I legit took a picture of this. Yep, it's the inventor, and it's in black and white. She's the only color on the image is her eyes, which are super blue and striking, and the little orangish looking pill that she's holding. And it says "visionary billionaire fraud," and I guess emphasis on the fraud.
What? One prick of blood doesn't translate into hundreds of testings for everybody?
God. Now I'm curious if my 23andMe is full of crap. Oh, God.
That's fine.
Oh, no.
Like, I doubt 23andMe fakes
Jhanelle,
that.
I am black. I am. Everyone's right.
Everyone was right. Even...
In case you've never seen me, I'm certainly not. But everyone seems to think I might be.
Maybe that's the fraud.
Fraud? 23andMe fraud? Well, I know it was
Jewish? Ashkenazi?
Ashkenazi? Fraud? This has been wild so far. Anyways, we should probably.
But no, I had one more thing to say about Elizabeth Holmes.
Hit me.
I'm so fascinated.
Please, go.
I forgot. That was a build-up.
That's John Finley in the background.
That's pretty
my
much like the
John
trajectory of Theranos, essentially. We have an idea. No, we don't.
Anyways, Jeffrey Emerson, once again, a fantastic comedian and actor.
If it comes to me later tonight, I'm going to be so mad. I'm going to wake up in the middle of the night.
You can text me. I probably won't respond. I'll be asleep. Anyways.
Oh, I do remember.
Jesus Christ.
If I forget again,
go, spit it out.
So embarrassing.
Say words.
Oh, okay. So beyond the HBO documentary and the podcast and the book that it is based on, it's now becoming a live action movie. Guess who is playing Elizabeth Holmes?
Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah. Did you see that on Twitter?
Totally saw it on Google. Wouldn't that have been amazing though? If I was just like, yeah, got it. Well, she has a lower voice too. She's
gonna kill it.
The eyes are perfect.
As soon as they said her, everyone's like, yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm with it. Anyways, speaking of fantastic actors, Jeffrey Emerson, for the 5th time, Jeffrey Emerson is an awesome actor and comedian who's going to be in the upcoming season of Happy on SyFy. You guys don't know how excited I was to find out that he was going to be on the show. I had just seen the whole first season, It's with I'm a huge Patton Oswald fan. He plays Happy, the imaginary blue flying horse. And this show is so messed up in so many ways.
It's not a cartoon, right?
Well, no, it's live action with the cartoon elements. Point is, I love this show. I love the first season of it. It's super weird. It's super twisted. This is the second season. It premieres when this episode will come out, the Wednesday, March 27th, 10/9 Central. It's just, there's so many good people on this show already, and then you get this fantastic comedian actor Jeffrey Emerson, who's a friend, and we had an awesome conversation. He's been doing this for a long time. He's he's grown a lot. He as he told us, he's done his Law and Order, he's done his commercials, and now he's getting to branch out into much more creative endeavors. He's done it all. Super funny and has a hell of a story. So I hope you enjoy our conversation with the fabulous Jeffrey Emerson. Woo!
I was telling you before, I've been an actor in a union for 20 years.
Yeah.
And so my coming to New York story is pretty insane.
Yeah.
I went to Emerson in Boston.
Boston.
In Boston.
Is this a Boston accent that you have? Because I can't really tell.
Boston is definitely part of it,
Sure.
and I think when I start talking about Boston,
it
comes out. And when I start talking about Chicago comes out. It's very.
We talked really bad about Boston on the first episode.
We did. We talked very bad about Boston on the first episode.
So this will redeem.
Would you trick people?
Oh, I'm not going to talk good about Boston.
And the bashing continues.
I was in Boston. I was studying theater with the Russians. We were doing a play. And I came up with this idea with my best friend at the time. She was going to get deported because she was from the Philippines.
Oh.
And she was done with her student visa and they were going to kick her out of the country. So we came up with this idea that we were going to get married and we were going to live in Park Slope. And I was going to be an actor and she was going to work on films. And she'd already worked on a bunch of films.
You were such a good friend.
So
that's what I need.
Cut to that summer, right? About 2 weeks before I was supposed to be in New York doing a Russian play as part of the first New York Fringe Festival. And she was in the Philippines straightening out some family business, and she called me and she's like, I can't get married. And I was like, you know what? I can't get married either. This has been insane. What were we thinking? Like, we were gonna get married. Like, I love you. I really do. And we're still friends to this day. We are deep friends. I talk to her on the phone once a year, and she's like, we're super close. So I'm supposed to move to New York City in 2 weeks, and now I don't have an apartment.
Wow.
And I'm supposed to do this play. So, I called an old flame of mine from high school, and she let me stay with her for 3 weeks. And that again was a platonic situation. And then she helped me get my first apartment in Washington Heights, which was $350 a month.
Oh, Jeffrey.
It was 185th in Fort Washington.
Oh, Jeffrey.
Each?
Yeah, $350.
Yeah.
How much was it? Was it just you, or
it was me and two roommates?
That's not bad.
Okay, that's not bad at all.
That's amazing.
And I was so broke, man. I was so broke.
Yeah.
And I had a friend at Fordham, and she was like, look, I'm teaching this sculpting class for non-majors, for non-art majors, for like lawyers and stuff.
Who need a credit?
And if you need money, you can come up and model for me. So one of my first jobs was a nude model.
For sculptures.
So I went up to Fordham, right? And everybody's got,
University.
yeah, and everybody's got like this, like this platform with this crappy clay on it. And, I say hi, it's $50, right? Which was a fortune. They
paid you $50 to
I could get enough groceries for a week, a MetroCard, and cigarettes for $50. Like that, I was set for a week on $50 back then. So she's like, okay, we'll go back there and change. And I was like, you mean take my clothes off, basically? She's
They
like,
didn't tell you this before you got there?
yeah, I had an idea what was going on. You know what I mean?
You had a sneaking suspicion.
I had a sneaking suspicion. So, and she's like, and then put your robe on and then come back out here. I was
Wait, so you had to come out in the robe and then de-robe?
Drop.
I didn't have a robe. So I went behind the bookcase and got naked, right? And then I came out with my hands over my stuff. And she was like, okay, Jeffrey, are you ready? And I was like, uh-huh. And she's like, okay, we're going to do a series of 30-second poses. And it's just like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So I'm putting my arms up and I'm bending over and I'm doing a lot of like graphic.
You're voguing.
Yeah. Like graphic from behind stuff. You know what I mean? Like it was awful. And I'm just hearing the sound of this like squishing clay all around me. That was terrible.
Oh my
That
gosh.
is definitely the hardest I've ever worked for $50 in my life.
And was this the type of clay on that spinning, like the Demi Moore?
No, it was like the
Patrick Swayze?
type of clay where they just have this old pasty bag over it and they pull it out and the people are just like squishing it together
This ain't pottery. This is
with their hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So did you look at any of the sculptures to see what they made your stuff look
I
like?
was having an out-of-body experience. I was literally in my head. I was like, how do I keep this not like prostate exam? I mean, they're all around me, you know? So I didn't, I didn't know. And of course, I mean, if I may say, like me at 22, I was a little hottie, sure. I had all the I had the cuts and the angles. I was probably too bony though.
That's a challenge.
So that was like
them.
kind of my first job in New York City.
Did you do it again? Like, was this being
I
a weekly thing?
couldn't do it again.
So how long were you up there in total?
An hour and 15 minutes. And she gave me a break. And so I just went back behind the bookcase and I was just naked back there. Like, what am I supposed to do? Go get a coffee? Like, what the heck? She's like, okay, Jeffrey, you ready? I'm like, yeah, let's get this over with. And so then there was a 15-minute pose and then there was a 30-minute pose where I could sit down.
Oh.
Where I could just sit my naked little bony butt down. It was...
Was it the thinker pose? What kind of sitting down pose
I was
it?
thinking about that. I was like going back to school, like Renaissance and Reformation, like trying to think of some sort of classic pose that did not expose my undercarriage to somebody for a half an hour.
No, they need that though for the sculpting.
God, they need that, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Wouldn't you be skeptical of a sculpture that did of a naked person that didn't have
the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it wasn't. It's a bad joke. It's a bad joke, Jacob. Maybe it wasn't prominent enough to notice.
I appreciate that.
I thought you were going New Kids on the Block. It wasn't the right stuff.
Thanks for bringing the new kids up.
Well, I mean,
that'll decrease anybody's prominence, if you know what I mean.
It's 10 degrees colder all of a sudden.
Interesting.
I do have one friend who has done nude modeling for paintings, I think just drawing. And she's so casual about it. She's incredibly body positive. She's very, very confident. She'll chat with all the artists afterwards and see all the work and everything. It's very, I think I would be, if I were to ever do this, and I doubt I ever would, I think I'd be in a similar mindset to you where it's just like, I don't even know what to think right now.
You're not prepared. And it's like, I was a really pretty open-minded, I mean, I was 22. Yeah. So I was open-minded and I was game, and you get there and it's just like, I didn't think this through. Like, I have no expertise at this at all. And really, I'm just going to continue to embarrass and humiliate myself over the next hour and then get my money, right? It's like, could I get that in 5s so it feels like I made some money? So it feels like I made something from my troubles?
As long as it wasn't in 1s, that'd be a whole different kind of context.
Maybe they paid you after each pose.
Yeah, if they just threw the money at me, right? Introduce now,
Sculpt Club.
Jeffrey Kitten's coming to the stage. That's my stripper name, definitely. Just Jeffrey Kitten, something simple.
Oh, Jeffrey Kittens.
A lot of cat poses.
Well, yeah, pause, maybe a little oopsie.
Yeah. So that's
incredible.
And I've just, I mean, being an actor is just such a roller coaster. So, I got a job painting apartments with my roommate.
Okay.
And so that was actually pretty steady work. That was $10 an hour. And
you were fully clothed.
And I was fully clothed.
Great.
And I, the woman that I was going to marry, she had a commercial casting director that she was going to hook me up with, just, kind of as part of our deal for, getting married, which she did. And I was going out on commercials.
Yeah.
And so one day it's like a Friday afternoon and I'm priming this closet. And I didn't know if you've ever worked with primer, but it's terrible stuff. The fumes are just...
It's clear, right?
Totally,
like a base coat?
Totally insane. It's not clear, it's white, but it is a base coat.
Yeah.
And it's, especially back then, this is a long time ago.
Lead-based?
So it wasn't lead-based, but it was just
nasty.
Really crap. It was crap on your brain. It was crap on your lungs.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, you're in this little tiny closet just breathing all of this stuff.
Oh, my God.
Because the closet is the only thing that they'll let you paint.
Okay.
I had to pay
Why were you painting closets? Who's looking at the color?
It's just... It needs paint. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's when you first start painting, it's another whole ladder where you have to pay your dues. You're not just going to paint a window the first day. It takes 3 or 4 years before they trust you to even use paint.
Wow. Really?
You're just doing the garbage and doing demo and priming. So it's like a closet is like a small room. You have to cut in. And it's kind of like you're learning how to paint.
So you need a resume to paint.
You need a resume to paint.
Because I've painted with Habitat for Humanity, and they just brought us into a school. They're like, okay,
go
here's
nuts.
some colors, go crazy.
Go nuts.
And I'm like, all over the place.
All right, so you're in this closet.
And then there's one lady at the end of the day who just comes in at the end and is like, I gotta clean up this mess.
They actually did that.
Right?
Because with the tape and you have to keep all the corners and everything. She's like, there's gaps.
Yeah.
No.
And this is for the kids. I did this out of the
good of your heart.
Good of my heart.
Yeah.
But here you
I
are.
actually learned how to paint. To this day, I paint without tape. I'm a terrific painter.
I bet after all this work,
on and off. That's one of the jobs that I've gone back to when I needed a job besides acting. So, but the crazy thing is, so I'm in there, I'm painting this closet, and the house phone rings. And this is before cell phones. So the landline rings, and the boss picks it up, and he's like, yeah, hold on a sec. He's like, Jeffrey, the phone's for you. And I get on the phone, and it's my girlfriend. And she's like, call your agent now. And I hang up the phone, and I call, and I ask for Doug Keston, who's my agent. Yeah. And he's like, do you have a passport? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay, you booked IBM. It shoots in Italy. And you're leaving on Monday.
Whoa.
So you better have a passport. And I'm like, yeah, I have a passport. No sweat. He's like, okay, I'll get back to you. So I hang up the phone and I don't have a passport.
Jeffrey.
So I call my girlfriend back and she works at Blue Man Group, right?
She works at Blue Man Group?
She works at Blue Man Group.
More paint?
And she's like, yeah, more paint, right? And she's like, I know what to do. She's like, let me make a phone call. Back then, this is before 9/11, so back then it was way easier to get around. So I got my passport, and next thing you know, I'm flying first class to Italy to do this IBM commercial. I went from priming a closet to Italy in less than 48 hours.
Woof.
And it's like...
And with no passport. Because if you had said, oh man, sorry, I don't have a passport, it could have gone to somebody else.
It would have gone to somebody else. And when I auditioned in the first place, I had to check the box that said that I had a passport. You know what I mean? And I did. Believe
It's a long
me.
con.
Oh, passport? Sure.
What do you consider a passport?
Yeah. So, exactly. So it's funny. So, and that first class, you know, when you fly overseas with SAG, it's all first class.
Oh, I had no idea.
So I was in first class on Air France. They brought me the pajamas. I was having caviar and champagne. And it's just like...
Was it Kevin McAllister?
Yeah.
Home Alone 7 or...
And this, you know, this is within... I mean, this is like probably within a month or two of when I'm nude modeling at Fordham. So just say yes.
Yeah, really.
Ask you if you have a passport.
God, that's something else, man.
Yeah.
How long were you in Italy? Do you remember?
I was in Italy. We only shot for one day.
So your first time in Italy?
It was my first time in Italy, and it was definitely the biggest commercial job that I had booked. I'd done a couple regional commercials. I'd done like a bank and like a roadhouse grill type of deal.
Yeah, sure.
But that was new.
Yeah.
That's insane that they needed you from America. They couldn't find someone in
Well,
Italy?
the guy who did that commercial is a guy by the name of Joe Pitka, who is kind of like the Stanley Kubrick of commercial directing. Oh. Like he's done a lot of the most famous commercials ever. So the fact that I got that job with him, I ended up working with him. Like he basically paid for my 20s. That guy.
Wow.
Because he kept hiring me. And back then you could, it was all everything was network. So when you booked a network spot, you would make a lot of money. But here's the thing. I got that going. I got a manager. I booked my Law and Order. I booked a soap.
All right.
And then the commercial.
What soap was it?
It was As the World Turns.
I used to love that.
Yeah.
There you go.
I played pre-2, if you will, # pre-2. I played a misogynist, creepy NYU film student.
Oh.
Who was trying to put the moves on the young star. I know, right?
I mean, no offense, but face-wise, it's pretty spot-on casting.
Thanks so much.
Coming to you live from NYU studio.
They can't see my face. I have a very sweet face.
You do
Thank
have
you
a very
much.
sweet face.
I'm practically an angel.
You are.
So the crazy thing is, I was in New York for 6 months and sort of just lucked into this sudden acting career, right?
Wow.
And then the commercial strike hit in May of 2000 and completely wiped everything out. I mean, back then, I was auditioning. I was going out at least 3 times a week, at least. I was probably auditioning for 100 commercials a year, at least, maybe even more than that.
Yeah.
And in LA, it was even crazier. But you could be a working actor in New York because there was a small pool of actors. Mm-hmm. Everybody was getting commercials, and when you got a network commercial, you were going to make $50,000.
Yeah.
What?
So
no, a big commercial like that.
Yeah, because I was doing I did IBM, I did FedEx, I did Dunkin' Donuts, I did Dodge, I did a bunch of big ones. And the commercial strike went on for 6 months. Yeah. And it just killed my career. And
who was striking?
We were. We were striking because there was this new thing coming up called the internet.
Oh, yeah, you don't say.
So we were striking because they didn't want to give us per use on the internet. They wanted to buy us out so they could infinitely use our stuff. And they waited us out, and we lost. They gave us something at the end.
Nowadays, there's it's like a per minute thing.
Yeah.
But it's 2019 now.
Yeah.
Between then and now, I'm sure lots changed.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there was also like a boom in commercials after 2000. There was this big boom in the .com. All the .coms were advertising.
Yeah.
So So the commercial strike hit, and I was living in the East Village in a little tiny room for $500 a month. And it was like, I realized it wasn't going to be easy. So I started painting. And I just go up on the roof every day and paint to kind of cope. Because I was so geared up and so ready. And then September 11th, 2001 hit, and acting was done in New York City. It was over. It was just over. Because during the commercial strike, all of the commercial agencies left. All the business went to Toronto, it went to Vancouver, it went to South Africa, it went to London, right. Because they had to hire, they needed actors, and New York,
guys are striking.
Yeah, New York wasn't working. So
what about non-union actors?
Non-union actors, I mean, they would do stuff. I knew people, but there were, you had to cross the picket line. I mean, you would really damage your relationship with your peers if you cross the picket line. So it was like, and then 9/11 hit, and that was it was gone. All of it was gone. Wow. People didn't want to do work. Everybody was really scared. There were guys with AK-47s in the subway. Like, I didn't hear anyone. Yeah, it was like a demilitarized zone. And I didn't hear anyone laugh for 6 months after 9/11. Like, there wasn't a conversation on the subway. It was like we were just done as a city. Like, we were really, really low. So I had to start work, like I was out of money. So I had to start bartending, and ultimately I had to leave, and I went to LA.
I didn't know you went to LA.
I did. I spent 6 years in LA. When you're in your late 60s, like I am, you can live in a lot of different places. But so I went to LA. LA's a whole other story.
Yeah.
I came back. I had an acting career in LA. I did a bunch of commercials. I had a band. I did a whole thing.
You had a band too.
I had a band. I had a ska band.
You had a ska band?
I had a ska band.
What was their name?
Yeah.
John Ruff and the Tuffingtons.
Oh, it's such a good ska
I
band.
also had a rap group called King Crab.
Whoa.
And I came. So I had started working in commercials again. I was doing my band. I'm having a blast in Los Angeles. The recession hits in 2008.
Yeah.
Everything slows down. And it's just like I had just started having a career again.
Yeah.
And
no one had, or not no one, but disposable income wasn't a thing. So people aren't going out to shows at this point. They don't want to see the Tuffingtons.
Yeah. It was just like, again, So I met a girl who lived here, and I came back here, and there wasn't any thought of acting again. I didn't come back to New York to act. I came back to New York because I knew that I would have to bartend again, and I didn't want to be one of those bartenders in LA in a black Lycra shirt who works at Ledoux, and you have to drive to work, and it's all, you're typing on the computers and everything. Like, the good thing about bartending in New York City, at least, at the time, you can drink at work and have a good time. You walk to work, you're friends with the people at work. I was working at music venues. It was really fun. It was a cool scene. It wasn't that bad. Yeah. If you were going to be a bartender in New York. Yeah. You're going to make a lot of money, and it's fun. Mm-hmm. So I kind of came back here for this girl. I was back a year. My mother got brain cancer, and then a year after that, she died.
Oh my God!
So that was like, welcome back to New York City. Oh. We're so thrilled to have you back. So.
And your mom was living.
My mom was living in Rhode Island, and when she was diagnosed, she was a healthy person, and it happened really fast. So
we were closer though.
We were super close. Yeah. And I was the person in my family who definitely stepped up. And that's kind of like the thing that made me into an adult who can take care of stuff. Yeah. And I learned how to take care of everybody else too. Yeah. You know, my mom was a clinical neuropsychologist in Rhode Island, which is ironic because she died. She knew that something was up because her motor functioning on her left side started acting up.
So
you know,
something on the right.
so she just had an idea, and she joked with her friends. You know, I've got a brain tumor. I'm going to go in, and she went into the neurologist, and they ran some tests, and the neurologist was like, "Carol, you got to go to the hospital." So, like, I just remember sitting in the kitchen with my girlfriend, who's my wife now, and just kind of in that first year in New York City. You know, when you have like 12 roommates and everyone's like eating in the kitchen before you go to work, you know what I mean? And, you know, my mom called me and she's like, I need you. So I went to Rhode Island and we did that. And it was an aggressive tumor. And about a year after that, she died. Yeah. And I'd finally gotten cast in a play. And she died before we started doing shows in the play. Sure. And I talked to the, I talked to the director and the people, and I was like, "Look, I need to still do this play. Just give me 2 days because I was gonna go crazy. Yeah. Like, the play was the first thing that I had come up with for myself."
Since coming back.
That, like, meant something to me that I was actually doing that made Jeffrey feel good.
Yeah.
So I did the play.
What, do you remember what it was?
It was called The Y Overhead. It's by a playwright, Adam Simkowitz, who is really, he's sort of in the same class as Sheila Callahan. I don't know if you guys get into plays or
not. I'm
not.
a huge play guy, but I should be.
But he's a terrific playwright, and he's really, he's been at it for 20 years. So he's got people at universities all over the country and the world, doing multiple productions of his plays, and he's finally making his living as a playwright, which is so hard to do.
Seriously?
Yeah.
It is so hard to do. So, this is like not even acting career number 3 yet. So my mom dies. I go through that grief. My uncle, who's
doing the shows at the same time?
Did the shows at the same time. And then my uncle has a atrial fibrillation. He's like my one family member in New York, and he goes into nursing homes for 2 years, and he dies.
Oh my God.
And that's when I started doing comedy. Because I was working in the bars, I started producing stand-up comedy in the bars, and just did comedy to cope. I was like, I have to perform, or I'm gonna go nuts.
Insane.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, and I also, one of the other jobs that I had, I was a karaoke host when I first came back to town.
She's a big karaoke.
I love karaoke.
I was karaoke host at the Trash Bar. I don't know if you guys ever heard of the Trash Bar.
It's called the Trash Bar?
It was like a punk rock bar in Brooklyn. And
awesome.
I used to make $75 a week hosting karaoke.
At a punk rock bar.
That was my first
that sounds
job
like my dream
back. Yeah, $75 a week. So
that's amazing.
So somehow karaoke led me back to comedy.
Yeah, really.
I was producing comedy, I was doing comedy, and then slowly but surely, like, I got my sea legs back, and I looked around, and I was like, okay, I need to start acting again.
Yeah, really.
And here we are, acting career number 3. That was 5 years ago.
Oh my God.
And it took, 5 years. I shot a show in the fall called Happy, which is on SyFy with Christopher Meloni and Patton Oswald.
It is spectacular. It's a great show.
And
it's disgusting.
It's disgusting, and it's violent, and it's horrible.
It is so messed up.
Yeah.
Oh.
It is the most messed up show.
And they're totally amazing. And they got me and let me totally do my thing.
So you got to combine acting with comedy.
And that's going to lead to some other stuff for us. So, acting career number 3. And if I can give you any advice, don't don't leave. Like, do New York until you're done with New York and then go. But don't leave and then have to come back, because re-entry is murder. It took me 8 years to get back. I lived here 6 years the first time, and that didn't count at all. I knew enough people to, like, my friend, everyone was really generous, and, you know, my friend gave me a shift at his bar, and my friend hired me to host karaoke, but I was making $125 a week. I remember just thinking in the subway, I was like, wow, I'm back. And then I was like, well, let's see, 35 plus 15 plus 75. I'm making $125 a week, and my rent's $900. They say you're supposed to make your rent in a week, so I'm $775 short. But if I work hard every week, I'm going to make $500, which is almost half of my rent. Almost half. As long as I don't eat or go anywhere, I can at least come up with half of my meals. Yeah. Oh my gosh. it's a roller coaster.
We've been asking all our guests, like, if there's a certain thing that they do or a certain thing they go back to that kind of makes the anxiety go away, that kind of settles the panic. I wonder if painting's that for you, or if comedy is that for you.
I think for me, I have to get in front of an audience, and at this point, it's definitely comedy. Mm-hmm. And the other good thing about comedy too is that you don't have to wait for acting stuff to happen. Like, wait for it happen. Yeah, or wait for an audition, or wait to hear about a job, or what. Like, you can really, your head turns in on itself. It's like you go to an audition and you're like, that was amazing, I did it, that was great. Yeah. And then an hour passes.
You're right.
And you're like,
unraveling.
That just sucked. And then you wake up the next day and you're like, I'm not going to get it. And I'm probably never going to get another audition ever in my life. Yep. But if you can go to comedy, then at least it's a different, circle of
emotions,
of despair. I mean, despair, right?
You know when the next one's coming, though.
You know when the next one's coming. And also in comedy, it's like you can bomb, and you know you're going to get to do it again. And it's like the stakes. The more you do it, the lower the stakes are. I think reps with comedy are super important. I think comedy is completely a merit-based field. Yeah. Even if you're not funny and you do it for 5 years, there's going to be better at it. Yeah. There's going to be something about you that people don't mind.
That's my bio.
So comedy, I mean, performing for me helps when I can't. Yeah. I play chess. I mean, I go back to chess and then I'll leave and then I'll come back to chess and I'll leave. I really have to have enough.
Are you good at chess?
Time. I'm better than your average. I'm better than your average bear, I guess. But people who are good at chess are just like alien life forms.
You're like thinking 7 steps ahead.
The rest of us, they're made of different stuff. I'm good at getting into jams and then getting out, as I am in my life as well.
Chess reflected every day.
Yeah, and it's good. That's good. I feel like chess helps me with my writing.
That's awesome.
Whoa.
You know. It just does.
Isn't there an ABBA musical? No, whatever.
Yeah. An ABBA musical?
Isn't there an ABBA musical called Chess?
I have no idea.
Did they do the music for chess?
I feel like they did.
There's definitely a musical called chess.
I can't think of anything else that combines chess and, like, writing.
Yeah. But wait, so you're playing chess and then you're like, oh, there's that idea.
Well, the marvelous thing about... See, I have this phone here. Yeah. And I can play chess on the phone. Yeah. And I can put the phone down and write. It just like chess is like a series of systems, and you start at the bottom and you kind of figure out the system as you go. And I feel like writing
like
is
Minesweeper.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like writing is the same thing. Like you lay a foundation and then you start and you make turns. And I feel like it kind of teaches your mind how to think with structure and also how to look ahead. And it really helps.
Jhanelle thinking about investing in a chessboard.
With writing.
Yeah, man.
In the West Village over here, there used to be...
Chess club, right?
The chess... There were two shops. There was Village Chess Forum.
I've seen a chess store like
There's two
nearby.
of them.
That's like dedicated.
Yeah. And you can go in there and literally pay $1 and sit down and play somebody you've never seen before in your life.
Yeah.
And in the summertime, you can go to the park.
Yeah, Union Square.
But you're going to get hustled because they want $5 just to play.
Oh, those dudes
I didn't know that.
Those dudes are ridiculous.
And then they'll make you feel bad too. Right at the end of Los Angeles, when the recession hit, and I was still managing to live on unemployment from acting, and that was when I bought a chess book and started learning openings.
Huh.
And
so there's a whole strategy that people know to it.
The thing that's really cool about chess is because there's a notation. You can write a chess game down. Each there's 8 squares this way and 8 squares this way.
Knight moves to c4.
Yeah, knight moves to c4. It's A through H this way and 1 through 8 this way. Yeah. So you can plot the squares. You can sit down with a chessboard and replay a game that's 600 years old. Yeah. That's how long people have been playing chess.
Recording it, yeah.
Yeah, I think like around, the 15th, 16th centuries.
And seeing what moves work.
And just, it's like time travel.
It is.
It's
incredible. It's amazing.
And there's like 5 or 6 guys that just are not to be, I would have to really go back in my brain. Tall is one.
You had a documentary about him on Netflix recently.
Oh,
right?
Really? I'd like to watch it.
Is he, where's he from? He's, I want to say Sweden? Switzerland?
I just know his games. We met, by the way, we met in this voiceover class.
Ed Lewis.
We met in this.
Yeah.
We met in this voiceover class.
Was it intro to voiceover, or were you guys already?
It was kind of an intro-ish class.
I mean, sort of.
Yeah, most people in there had some sort of acting background.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was mainly commercial-centric.
Was it competitive at all?
I don't think it was.
Very supportive, actually.
I think that there were some people who you could just... It's funny, because it's like there's a pocket where your mind is like, this is a commercial, this is familiar to me. Mm-hmm. And then there's guys like me. What is Gordon Ramsay on Xanax?
I wanted to say, thank God you said it.
I've never even thought that.
I just have a wave of relief. Just wash through my body. You look exactly like Gordon Ramsay.
I look a lot like Gordon Ramsay.
Follow Jeffrey on Instagram and Twitter at JanselJadams. That's JANSEL_JADAMS. And look out for Jeffrey on Happy on SyFy starting March 27th. That's today. And if you enjoyed the show, please leave us a review on iTunes. It helps words... Why are you laughing? It helps word about the show spread like...
it's hard, see?
Let's say it spread like jam on a piece of toast.
Yeah. See, I knew you could do it.
Give me a second. You're good.
And of course, make sure you're subscribed to easily download new episodes. I'm Trying is hosted, edited, produced, and scored by Jacob Derwin and me, Jhanelle Dennis. Our cover art was created by the fabulous Sammy Kappa. See more of her work at sammycappa.com. That's SAMICAPPA.com.
You can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at I'm Trying Show. And if you want, you can follow us individually at Jhanelle Dennis and at Jacob Derwin.
And if you've screwed up or embarrassed yourself and are looking for help
or pity,
reach out to us on Twitter or email at imtrying.show@gmail.com, and our team of crisis experts will be more than happy to assist you.
Well, reasonably happy.
I really wanted you to mess that up and you didn't. Thank you so much for listening. And in the words of Sheryl Crow,
if it makes you happy, it can't be that bad.